Part 39. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 381. The couple went to the hospital together because one's wound worsened and the other suffered a miscarriage. After calling the police, the Yuan family firmly accused Chu Le of domestic violence, injuring his wife and killing his children, which was a heinous crime. They also warned the Chu family that they could change their confessions as long as the Chu family obeyed. Chu Le finally got smart. If he dared to do it, he would do it with the thought that he would no longer be manipulated. Even if he goes to jail, he has to get rid of that bunch of rubbish. So when the police came to take a statement, he bit back. He said that while he was lying down, Yuan Lily came to force him and threatened him, saying that if he did not withdraw the lawsuit, he would kill his child and put his belly on the edge of the bed. Later, the two sides had a dispute. Yuan Lily did not know whether it was intentional or not. Unexpectedly, I bumped into the edge of the bed. At the same time, Chu Le also pointed out that Yuan Lily hid his wound and said that if he disobeyed, he would be killed. The door was closed at that time. Both parties involved insisted on their own opinions, and there was no evidence left, so it was really difficult to judge. This matter finally came to nothing. Chu Le looked up to the sky and smiled. He was finally free. And Yuan Lily, who has no child, will no longer be able to escape the punishment of the law. The outcome of the trial has come down. In the end, Chen Jun was convicted of all crimes including extortion, intimidation, fraud, hostage-taking, intentional injury, and attempted murder. In addition to restitution of previous gains, a fine and 25 years imprisonment were imposed. Upon hearing the verdict, Taoran breathed a sigh of relief. What Chen Jun fears and hates most is imprisonment. These 25 years will be a huge torture for him. And the Chu family has lost a grandson and a great-grandson, and they will not give up. He will definitely be taken good care of in prison. When he comes out, I will continue to deal with him. Yuan Lily is not much better than Chen Jun. She extorted and defrauded Chu Le many times, and the circumstances were serious. She was eventually sentenced to 10 years, and was required to return Chu Le's money and repay Chu's family's expenses. Yuan Lily almost went crazy when she heard the verdict in court. 10 years. She is already lame. She has lost her good looks and her youth. What else does she have? She has no diploma and no reputation, so how can she get married? How else can she realize her dream? The village has cancelled all her benefits, and her uncle is also disappointed with her and wants to remove her from the household registration book. Who will give her money when she leaves? Do you go to work like ordinary people like Kizzy? Go work in the fields like Xiahua. If you live like that, you might as well kill her. So before being taken away, Yuan Lily was still holding onto the railing and shouted at Chu Le, just wait. When I come out, I will find you. You owe me too much. This relationship will never end between us. Never. There was no other way for her. Chu Le, she is determined. When she is released from prison, even if she dies, she will die in the Chu family. A group of Chu family members were frightened when they heard Yuan Lily's threats. Chu Le was even more trembling. God knows, this Yuan Lily has almost become his nightmare, and she even pesters him in his dreams every night. Will she come back 10 years later? Chu Le felt that he had an inner demon. Yuan Lily was unable to pay back the money, and the Yuan family became the target of debt collection. The Qi family was also accused. The Chu family had previously helped the Yuan family to repay the Qi family 50,000 yuan, but the set of photos sent by well-wishers contained several photos of the three families sharing the stolen goods. The Qi family was identified as an accomplice by the Chu family. During the trial, Qi Ji failed to hold on and admitted that the three of them cooperated and used rumors to force the Chu family to take money and divide the stolen goods. Qi Ji was imprisoned for half a month before he was released and was asked to repay the 50,000 yuan. But their family only got 30,000 yuan. So, the Qi family approached the Chen family and the Yuan family again to ask for money. The Yuan and Chen families were in deep debt. Both families originally wanted to seize the Golden Mountain by getting something for nothing, but in the end they ended up with the same end. The two families have become negative teaching materials for the adults in the village to educate their children. Even after Yuan Lily and Chen Jun entered, the Chu family's anger was still hard to extinguish. They kept collecting debts just to get some relief. White and black, with frequent tricks. The villagers were also disgusted with the bad reputation of the two families and the people who came to the village from time to time to collect debts, so they often persuaded them to leave their hometown. In the end, in order to repay the money, the two families mortgaged their properties and fields in the countryside. They all moved away, and the two families were crowded into shabby rented houses, struggling to make ends meet and pay off debts. On the day the trial ended, Chu Le stopped Tao Ran. "Xiaoan, I have something to tell you." "What?" Tao Ran's eyes lightly glanced at his face, stopped for a second at the scar on Chu Li's face, and then looked coldly into his eyes. Although the Chu family helped Chu Le repair his injuries, there were still traces. The new growth is obviously a different color than before and looks very conspicuous. "Let's start over," he said with hope in his eyes. Tao Ran smiled. "But you are not worthy of me. Do you really have no points? Even your grandfather has given up on you. Why do you think I will still pick up garbage?" Tao Ran will not forget Fang Wen's injuries because of him. Now that he came to her door, why didn't she stab him? What's more, she was right. The old man of the Chu family separated from Chu Li's parents last month. The old man's attitude is very obvious. The large fortune that Chu Le had been thinking about was gone. "You'd better wait for Yuan Lily. In 10 or 8 years, she will come back to accompany you. As for me, you will never be able to catch up." Tao Ran walked away. Today is a good day. Because she can get the key to the new house she bought for Fang Wen. In the past few months while she was waiting for the outcome of the trial, in addition to going to school, she practiced martial arts. At other times, he helps Fang Wen earn some money. Just after the financial crisis, it is the investment period. Fang Wen had her own small treasury, and Tao Ran took part of it and traded it in the stock market. In 4 months, she gained a lot with her savings. She was able to collect enough money for a house at a time when real estate was very cheap. The properties were carefully selected by her. In the city center, there is a lot of room for appreciation. After more than 20 years, it will be worth at least 3 to 5 million. The location is good. There is a supermarket 200 meters away, a hospital 300 meters away, a commercial street to the south, and a park to the north. It is very livable. Security is good. In addition to regular properties, there is a police station on the commercial street to the south. You can even see the police officers coming in and out from the upstairs of Fang Wen's house. It's not that he is afraid that Chen Jun and the others will come to the door one day, but Tao Ran knows that Fang Wen is hurt, so he thinks of ways to give her the greatest sense of security. Tao Ran raised his head and looked at the night scene outside, thinking, this is all he can do, right? She did not interfere too much in Fang Wen's life. This time, Fang Wen can choose her life as much as she wants. The familiar feeling of detachment came. Tao Ran is leaving. In the void, she saw Fang Wen and received the reward from Fang Wen. But she was a little nervous. Because she had to face Elizabeth again. The suffocating feeling from the last time his throat was grabbed seemed to come back. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 382. Tao Ran failed to return to the hotel. After the world was spinning, she came to the old castle. And the suffocation she just felt was not an illusion. Indeed, The moment she woke up, she found that her neck was being strangled. Elizabeth's face was only a palm away from hers. "Did you do it on purpose?" The old witch's eyes flashed with a strange red color from time to time. "What? Are you planning to betray me?" Taoran could vaguely see the sharp fangs as she opened and closed her mouth. "The sharpness is comparable to that of a dagger." "I don't." "Then why didn't you bring back the golden light this time? With such a mission, where can I collect faith power for you? For several months, I have only been busy cleaning up those pests. Didn't you see that I haven't even touched Fang Wen's major? I haven't taken it before in college. The academic pressure is very heavy. I can't write yet, so I can only make money. I can complete the task so quickly, and I am already very tired." It was precisely because he did not want to bring faith to the old witch that Taoran did not fully participate in this mission. He almost exclusively used methods to instigate internal fighting. In order not to take advantage of the old witch, she deliberately weakened her role throughout the plot. In fact, based on everyone's sympathy for Fang Wen in the school that day, based on the fact that she was in the student union propaganda department, and based on the manuscripts she compiled for Fang Wen, she could gain a lot of golden glory with just a little effort. But she didn't do it. "I really tried my best." The only way Taoran could convince the old witch was through his acting skills. Her eyes were clear and firm. She didn't flinch when facing the old witch, but looked a little angry and stubborn. "If you want me to help you, you have to trust me. I feel I have completed this task very well. You don't have to use me, but don't doubt me." The throat gradually relaxes. The suffocation finally disappeared. "Look at your little stubborn temper, it's very similar to mine." Elizabeth smiled and stood a little further away from Taoran. Taoran could tell that this witch was not easily deceived, and she only believed him 4 to 5 points at most. And just now she clearly felt that the old witch wanted to break her neck, basically with a snap of her fingers. Because Elizabeth was already so terrifying, Taoran felt even more guilty and did not dare to collect the golden light for her. She is afraid of helping the evildoer. In an instant, Elizabeth appeared on her golden lounge chair again. "I gave you time to consider the task. Have you decided? Make good use of it for me. Not for your use. I hope for cooperation." Here we go again. What qualifications do you have as a puny human being to talk about cooperation with me? Just tell me, do it, or not. I can help you, but I have 3 requirements. Taoran took a step back. "Well, be good." Elizabeth finally smiled. "You can tell me. First, you can no longer threaten my life at will. You must know that the more terrifying you are, the more afraid I am of you. I am afraid that you will destroy me at any time. I feel that if you want me to help you complete your mission, you can't do this to me. That makes sense. I can promise you." Elizabeth flashed up again, startling Taoran. In front of Taoran's eyes, 3 more red blood beads suddenly appeared. "This is my clan's skill. Since I scared you, I have to compensate you. You can choose one." Taoran cursed in his heart. A typical slap in the face and a sweet date. But does she dare to want this thing? "I'm going to get my second shot of the vaccine today, and I heard that I'll have to queue for a long time, so that's all the updates for today, huh? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 383. Taoran was afraid of being cheated, so he didn't dare to reach out easily. "Are you so courageous? It seems that you are really scared by me." Elizabeth rolled her eyes. "Don't worry, these are blood clan skills and they won't harm you. I think you are too weak, so I will give you a chance to learn some skills so that you can complete the task better in the future." Taoran refused. I think I can still complete the task without this. I don't want it. You have no right to refuse this reward from me. After baring her teeth, Elizabeth probably remembered the promise just now, and forced a smile on her lips, which was very strange. Select. Taoran could only point at a bead at random. The bead flew directly towards her, and then turned into a blood mole on the back of her hand. After you leave, just squeeze out this bloody mole and you can learn. What is this ability? Won't you know if you try it? Our clan's abilities are much higher than those of you humans. Hee hee. Taoran firmly believed that she would not touch this thing. What's your second request? From now on, I will choose my own tasks. What? I didn't choose well for you. Everyone has preferences. Only by choosing themes that I like and stories that interest me can I complete the work better. It makes sense. I can agree. Taoran breathed a sigh of relief. She didn't forget the man in black from the previous mission. He asked her to choose the fairy tale. She couldn't be controlled by Elizabeth and had to give it a try. Elizabeth, so what do you want for your next mission? Taoran was afraid of being suspected by the old witch, so he pretended to think. The future, ancient times, no, can you let me think about it? What's the third request? Third, I must rest after every mission. You can't force me into a mission. There's nothing wrong with taking the time. But I'm human. Weak and disgusting humans. Don't worry, I don't want to die. So I won't delay and make fun of my own life. Each break cannot exceed 2 days. 3 days. Okay. Since you have worked hard on the first few tasks, I will agree. Then, please let me go back, and we'll see you in 3 days. Give me 3 days to think about where to go on my next mission. Elizabeth's hand brushed Taoran's face. Taoran shuddered. The greed in the old witch's eyes was like a person who has been hungry for many days, salivating over a gluttonous meal. I was in a trance, woke up from the dream, and was still in the hotel. Taoran got up immediately and booked a flight ticket, preparing to return home as quickly as possible. She called Shan Shan again and asked for help to rent an apartment near Granny Hua nursing home. Taoran returned home quietly. The popularity of the movie Queen's retirement has not passed yet. When I open Weibo, I see that she is still in the top 50 in the entertainment section. Some said they saw her silently joining the volunteer service in which city, some said they saw her teaching in which mountain, some said she saw through the world of mortals and shaved off her hair to become a monk. And the foundation she set up has raised billions in donations. She sighed. No wonder Elizabeth fell in love with her, it's just that her faith in Taoran was much stronger than the sum of her several missions. She thought again of the way Elizabeth looked at her, almost drooling, which gave her a creepy feeling. On the second day after returning to China, Taoran went to see Granny Hua and used practical actions to convince her that her condition had improved greatly. On the third day, she met Shan Shan and asked her to help find out about famous Taoists and shamans in the country. The remaining fragments of time she had were spent on strengthening her body. She truly felt the vitality of her body, and the previous decadent and dying energy was long gone. The feeling of health is something that only a seriously ill person like her cherishes the most. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 384. On the third night, when Taoran had just crossed her legs and practiced Yutong's internal skills that she had already mastered, Elizabeth's voice came. Have you decided what you want? Are there any cultivators? Cultivation. Well, it's the kind that can fly around. I've never acted in a fairy tale drama, and I've always been looking forward to it. Humph. That kind of world would take a lot of my strength. Taoran guessed it. The farther away the mission is from their real world, the harder it should be to start. Before, Elizabeth used the strength accumulated from several missions to get into the survival game. She was only afraid that Elizabeth would not agree to her request this time. However, because of my love for you, I promise you, she actually laughed boldly. Taoran was still wondering why she agreed so readily, but Elizabeth herself explained the reason. The souls and bodies of monks are very powerful. Their blood can be worth 10, so the reward must be generous. You have to complete the task well. Also, in that kind of world, as long as you are strong, you can easily gain the power of faith. So this time, don't let me down. If you dare to waste my power, the consequences will be serious. I'm waiting for your good news. The dizziness came quickly. Weightlessness, dizziness, tinnitus, confusion. It's been a long time. Finally, okay. The old witch gave her a sweet treat this time. When she was transported to the new world, she was finally not overwhelmed by some strange scenes. At this time, she was in a mysterious state. She was meditating, but she was half suspended. Although her eyes were closed, she could feel that there were countless small golden red light spots around her rushing into her body one by one. All these little things gathered into a stream and went to her dantian. After going around in a circle, they disappeared into the body bit by bit. There was an indescribable feeling of fullness and comfort in her body, which made her as greedy as a child, almost reluctant to interrupt this mysterious feeling. There was a burst of thunder, and she subconsciously wanted to get out of the state. But before he could open his eyes, a bolt of lightning struck straight down. What a coincidence! Hit her directly? However, her body didn't reject it at all, but was actually very excited. There were no serious injuries. As soon as she hesitated, another bolt of lightning struck. The comfort she felt just now had long since disappeared. She could almost smell the burning smell on her body, and saw the electric current that spread on the texture of her skin from time to time and seemed to be sizzling. Pain. But happy. Well, for the first time in her life, she finally understood the sentence. How could she not be awake at this time? Opening her eyes and taking a closer look, she was currently standing on an empty flat rock protruding from a mountain peak, facing the lightning and thunder above her head. What the hell? Got struck by lightning when you walked in? This is ridiculous. She had to suspect that it was the old witch who had evil intentions again. Taoran wanted to run away, but found that he couldn't move. He could only rely on the feeling of his body, let the lightning strike him, and wait for the thunder to pass. After 7 thunderclaps, the thunderclouds overhead finally dispersed. It's over. And the surrounding scenery also showed its true appearance. The fairy mist is shrouded and the mountain peaks are misty. It is like a fairyland that can only be dreamed of. Unfortunately, she was not in the mood to appreciate it. Because she didn't know what to do next after catching the thunder, Taoran suddenly fell from mid-air to the stone ground, and then rolled to the ground. She felt a sharp pain all over her body, which made her twitch. Think this is it? Without the body controlling state just now, she was now directly soaked by the downpour of rain. She had a curse word in her mind. Her entire body, from her skin to her internal organs, felt as if they had been blasted. She couldn't stand up. She also had severe pain in her throat. I wanted to ask for help, but my throat was so painful that I couldn't make a sound at all. And, who to turn to for help? I don't know where this place is, but there is no one there. Although she looked like a serious fairy at first glance, she had no idea how to deal with and repair the lightning strike since she didn't know any magic. Old witch, you definitely did it on purpose. Helpless, she could only forcibly accept the plot in the state where her whole body was burning like fire, like being fried, and under the ravages of the biting cold wind and torrential rain. The heroine He Yungzi is the first disciple of King Yun Sex's Tianjian Peak's mainstream Yun. The heroine is very talented and has a rare mutant spiritual root called Liligan. In addition, he has a good understanding of cultivation and a persevering mind. Soon after joining the sect, he was selected into the inner sect and became the best among his peers. In a trial, he came out on top. Not long after she established the foundation, she was selected by Peak Master Yun and became the only disciple of Tianji Peak. Who can not admire it? Although Liu Yun is only a sect elder, he is the only god-forming monk in the entire Qingyun sect besides the sect leader. In this continent where they belong, it is too difficult to become immortal. In the past 1,000 years, no one has been promoted to immortality. In fact, to be precise, it is difficult to advance in this world. Being able to reach the point of becoming a god seems to be the highest level of immortality. In this way, the number of transformed gods one possesses represents the strength of the sect. The total number of gods in the 6 major sects in the entire continent is less than 10. Qingyun sect has 2 god transformation monks, so it has been the number 1 sect in the mainland for 300 years. However, the sect leader Nianbai is over 2005 years old, but he has not been able to break through to the late stage of divine transformation. Seeing that time is running out, he is already on the verge of decline. Therefore, it has become a top priority to step up the training of young people and strengthen the Qingyun section. Qingyun sect has attracted a large number of talents in the past few hundred years. Liu Yun, who lost his beloved disciple in his early years and was heartbroken, never accepted another disciple, so he had to choose new disciples for the sake of the sect. But he did not choose Yuanying, who was the backbone of the sect, nor did he choose the Danja people who had a promising future. Instead, he chose He Yongzi, who had just established a foundation. Who in the sect would not praise Yongzi for his good fortune? After all, the relatively old Nianbai, who was less than 1,000 years old at the time, Liu Yun, who created his own martial arts and practiced successfully, was the most powerful person in the entire sect. Only by following him can one hope to become an immortal and become the strongest. Yun 11 lived up to expectations. Under Liu Yun's guidance, her strength improved by leaps and bounds. It only took more than 10 years to successfully form an elixir, and she became the fastest golden elixir cultivator in the section. Not only was she recognized as the hope of the sect, but she also became he has become a talented disciple who is famous throughout the continent and has high hopes. Liu Yun was also urged by the sect to recruit more new disciples because of his skill in teaching. So soon, Liu Yun accepted another male disciple, Ren Ping. Liu Yun also chose it from the sect, with a single golden spiritual root. From then on, He Yongzi was no longer the only one at Tianji Peak, and there was a lot of excitement. Liu Yun told the 2 apprentices to love each other. Especially Ren Ping. He is a sword cultivator, and his golden spirit root is good at attacking. He should assist and protect his senior sister more in the future. The truth is right. Because according to convention and strength, Yun 11 will be the inheritor of Tianji Peak. Ren Ping made a solemn oath at that time to protect and assist his senior sister. In fact, this is just empty talk. His strength and cultivation are not as good as those of his senior sister, so Yun 11 is the one who helps and teaches him on weekdays. When Liu Yun was in seclusion, Yongzi would take him and protect him. Over the past few years, the relationship between the 2 has become quite good. Even when Ren Ping formed the elixir, the 2 of them were together. At that time, Liu Yun was out, and Ren Ping was in the sword cave to break through the levels. Normally, he could break through 30 levels during the foundation building period, but Ren Ping had already broken through the 32 levels. At that time, he had a feeling for the sword move, suddenly felt a breakthrough, and hurriedly released the contact talisman for Yun 11. Yun 11 arrived as quickly as possible and lured the unicorn transformed from the sword move aside. How dare you pass through these 32 levels before your cultivation level is reached? Why don't you suppress your cultivation level quickly? Yun 11 was busy dealing with the sword unicorn, but did not dare to use the Thunder element offensive for fear of accidentally triggering Renping's attack. Thunder disaster. But Renping couldn't hold it down at all. The thunder has arrived. Why don't you respond quickly? Yun 11 and Jian Kailan were fighting together, but they didn't dare to use any thunder attribute moves, for fear of adding fuel to the fire and triggering a thunder disaster that would double the power. In addition, she had to be busy setting up formations for Renping and helping to fight the thunder. If you are not careful, you will be hit many times by the sword Kailan. When everything calmed down, Renping had successfully formed the elixir, while Yun 11 was seriously injured. At this moment, Lu Yun, who felt that he had spent the teleportation talisman, arrived. In anger, he destroyed half of the sword cave with one sword and took Yun 11 away himself, leaving only one sentence for Renping: "Wait a minute, get punished." Renping knelt down silently. He formed an elixir, but the master didn't even look at him. "Senior sister, should everything be okay?" He once again discovered that his master cared about and preferred his senior sister compared to himself. When a white and tender hand stretched out in front of him to help him, Renping, who was immersed in his own emotions, realized that his master had just brought back a little girl in the foundation building stage and had forgotten her here. The pretty little girl Yan Yan who was brought back was Lu Yun's third disciple, the daughter of his savior many years ago. An old friend was being hunted by demons. He rushed to help, but he only saved this little girl. That time, because Renping broke into the border without authorization and almost killed himself and implicated his senior sister, he received 30 bone whips and was banned from healing spells as punishment. Yun 11 was rewarded with a large number of treasures by Lu Yun, and Lu Yun took care of them personally. Liu Yun also refined the few heavenly and earthly treasures she had just brought back into her natal magic weapon. These rewards are all deserved, so who knows that someone is jealous of the unfair distribution of resources. After the incident passed, Tianjian Peak had 3 disciples. After Renping recovered from his injury, he thanked his senior sister for saving his life and expressed that his life was given by his senior sister. From now on, he is willing to go through fire and water for her. Yun 11 regarded him as a relative, and the matter was revealed. They reconciled. After this incident, Renping became more mature and steady, became more responsible in his work, completed several tasks beautifully, and became active in the affairs of the sect, winning unanimous praise from his superiors and subordinates. He even took over Yan Yan's exercise guidance without hesitation. People in the sect praised him, saying that his actions were influenced by Yun 11's, and he would be able to assist Yun 11 well in the future. Every time he hears this, he always smiles back, "Yes, my senior sister is the best. As long as I have the ability, I will definitely protect her." Moreover, the way Renping looked at Yun 11 was obviously getting hotter. Many people in the sect could see that Renping was more than a fellow sect member towards Yun 11. However, Yun 11 is not interested in these. All her thoughts are on assisting her master, carrying forward the light of the sect and becoming an immortal. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 385. It has been many years in a flash. Tianjian Peak's junior sister Yan Yan finally formed a pill. Yun 11 has always practiced hard, her cultivation is stable, and she has made progress with each passing day. Now, not only is she proficient in thunder skills, but her swordsmanship is also quite superb. After the sword cave incident, she also realized her shortcomings and began to relearn other skills. The thunder attribute is a mutation of the gold element, and Tianjian Feng is the main sword, so it is most suitable for her to practice gold-type swordsmanship. Lu Yun knew that his eldest disciple had a high level of understanding and had high hopes for her. He taught her his own Lingyuan sword technique personally and shared his many years of experience with her. After that, Yun 11 went into seclusion for 10 years. When she came out, she was already in the late stage of Jindan. The whole person has also undergone a radical change. At that time, she was like a sword that had been polished for many years and was just waiting to be unsheathed. Her bravery and perseverance revealed domineering and extraordinary sharpness. Just like another floating cloud. The entire Qingyun sect was shocked by the speed of cultivation. And in the sect competition, she defeated senior brother Lu, who was known as the Qingyun sect's #1 golden pill because he had entered the inner sect 50 years earlier than her and was only one step away from having a baby. Nian Bai, the leader, was extremely excited and said bluntly, "The Qingyun sect has a successor." And his sentence, "Qingyun looks at the heavenly sword," Liu Yun and Yungzi also spread. Yun 11 received another large number of rewards, and also received the secret pass to the sect's library secret pavilion, which can be entered 3 times a year. The most frustrated person in that sect competition was Ren Ping. He has been working hard these years to catch up with Yun 11. However, in the big competition, he and Yun 11 met, but they couldn't win. What made him even more uncomfortable and humiliated was that Yun 11 was letting him go. He felt that the senior sister only used 70 to 80% of her strength at most. But he was doing his best. And with senior sister's cultivation speed, her hustle and bustle in cultivation, and her powerful resources, it is almost certain that he will never be able to catch up. Not long after the competition, it was Ren Ping's birthday, and Yun 11 gave away 3 treasures in one go. Ren Ping quite liked it. Yan Yan came over and hugged Yun 11 affectionately, and also extended her hand. She didn't expect that Yun 11 had been prepared and pushed a gift box directly to her. "I know you love beauty, so everything I give you is beautiful." The gift box contains precious sunset golden satin and blue beads. Junior brothers and junior sisters all said in unison, "My senior sister is the best." Yun 11 was also happy. "The main reason why I left seclusion early was to celebrate junior brother Ping's birthday." However, Yan Yan wrinkled her nose and smiled without any thought. Senior sister obviously took the time to participate in the sect competition and the upcoming secret realm. How could it be for senior brother's birthday? Why can't it be for me? Ren Ping's face turned dark at that time, and he almost got into a fight with his junior sister. Yun 11 sighed in his heart. She had long seen that Yan Yan was interested in Ren Ping, and Ren Ping had feelings for her, and could never go back to the original simple friendship between the same family. Yun 11 is ambitious and free-spirited. She hates this kind of entanglement and can't cut things that are not legal. After that day, she simply went out to explore. And when she returned to the sect, she found that the look in her junior sister Yan Yan's eyes had changed. Without the dependence and trust of early years, disgust will show up from time to time. Later, other classmates informed Yun 11 that when she left, Yan Yan confessed her love to Ren Ping, and Ren Ping said a lot of words of rejection. Later, both Ren Ping and Yan Yan were taught a lesson by their master. The master told them not to stick to their immediate needs and to transcend petty love as soon as possible, otherwise they would become inner demons sooner or later, and forcibly sent Ren Ping to a forbidden place for seclusion. Ren Ping just left the secret realm before it opened. He thought he had narrowed the gap between him and his senior sister, but suddenly discovered that the senior sister who had returned had unknowingly reached the late stage of the golden core during her travels, and her cultivation was very stable. Ren Ping was defeated again. The secret realm that has been opened for 50 years is about to be opened. This is one of the highest level secret realms in the mainland. It requires the secret orders of the good and evil factions to work together to open it. Only Jindan and below cultivation levels are allowed, and a total of 200 people can enter. The rewards are generous and the opportunities are countless. Of course, there are always dangers. Qingyun sect has 10 places. Yun 11, who had the highest cultivation level, led the team, and Ren Ping and Yan Yan were also selected. The secret realm has been open for 2 months. The good and the evil agreed not to harm each other in the secret realm and to focus on treasure hunting and experience. Therefore, after entering the secret realm, everyone mostly acted separately in order to find their own opportunities. The same is true for King Yun's sect. After Yun 11 told everyone a few words, he distributed the incense for help from his sect, and then dispersed everyone. Yungzi's chances are good. In the past 2 months, she had killed several strange beasts, obtained their Yuan Dan, collected many high-level spiritual plants, and found a jade tablet in a ruins that she didn't know how to use. Seeing that the secret realm was going to be closed in just 2 days, Yun 11 also started to go back. However, at this time, she received a distress signal from her junior sister, saying that she was trapped in a cave. Yan Yan was of a single wood type and was not good at fighting. Yun 11, as the senior sister and leader of the team, rushed over without hesitation. The cave where Yan Yan was trapped was indeed full of spiritual energy. It is still very pure wood spirit energy, no wonder Yan Yan is attracted to it. The cave had been blocked by some kind of demonic vine. Yun 11 failed to open it with his sword, but he still used thunder power that could cleanse away evil spirits to open the door. The cave is full of weird vines, and Yan Yan is scarred and tied to the stone wall. Yun 11 rescued him, and then followed Yan Yan's pointing and saw the source of the spiritual energy in the cave, an ancient tree half a foot thick, with 9 bright red pear-shaped fruits that were emitting spiritual energy. This is clearly the Zhenyuan Shiguo mentioned in ancient books. This thing is a great tonic for monks to prolong life and rectify the source of life. With them, the headmaster may be able to get rid of his current depression and have a few hundred more lifespans to try to ascend to immortality. And if master has the fruit, he can reach a higher level. Yun 11 immediately decided to pick the fruit no matter what. After spending a whole day breaking open various demon vines, Yun 11 finally got his wish and picked the fruit. The Zhenyuan Shiguo, which is extremely fragrant and full of spiritual energy, is indeed the best. Yungzi, who was afraid that the spiritual energy would leak out, hurriedly took a jade box to put it in, but unexpectedly, the fruit suddenly exploded. This is not a genuine red fruit, but a demon fruit that I have never seen before. Red juice puree splashed everywhere, and Yun 11 couldn't avoid it at all. She knew something was wrong, but what was worse was that her spell couldn't be used at that moment. And the moment she was trapped in the forbidden spirit, Yan Yan had already hit her with something. Every joint of hers was driven into some kind of hidden weapon that was quenched with poison. The spiritual power coming out of her dantian could no longer be transferred out. Soon, she watched helplessly as her legs turned into tree trunks, and then upwards little by little. Finally, her whole body turned into a tree, no different from other plants in the cave. Her spiritual power was disappearing, and Yan Yan plotted against her. She really became a tree. I can't move, I can't even speak. Nothing can be done. And her junior sister, who was seriously injured just now, is already jumping back alive. What's the level of Yan Yan? She has been forming the elixir for less than 5 years, so how can she have such strength? No. Even Master couldn't transform her into a fruit tree, so he turned her into a tree. Yun 11 tried her best, but not even a piece of bark fell off, and only a few leaves swayed slightly. My best senior sister, aren't you very unwilling? Yan Yan sat down in front of her. Don't worry, I won't kill you. Master loves you so much that if he kills you, he will inevitably disturb his old man. You can just make a tree here with peace of mind. The secret realm will be closed in 1 hour. We will be here for at least 50 years. We can't meet each other anymore. Yun 11 was anxious. She tried hard to mobilize her spiritual power, but nothing could be done. Senior sister, it has been good for me to remember your past. If I still have some time, I will tell you the truth. Xiaoqing, come out. Yan Yan called, and Yun 11 saw a ball of pure green aura on his tree that merged into a green vine. Did you see it? I can conquer you all because of it, my treasure. The legendary wood spirit. This is what I found during my expedition to the secret place as a reward for my master after I formed the pill. It can sense and utilize all spiritual plants. It helped me a lot. The Zhenyu and Chiguo you just thought was transformed by it. The wood spirit energy in this cave was also triggered by it. Yanyan Balabala recounted all the resentments she had carried over the years. When she was in the Yan family, she was the beloved jewel of thousands of people. She had long been accustomed to being the one who attracted everyone's attention. But when she finally got a master, the master abandoned her and forgot about her. Master's attention was on the senior sister, especially the senior brother who made her heart beat wildly at just one glance. Not only that, everyone in the entire sect was paying attention to the eldest disciple of Tianjian Peak and caring about her injury, but no one cared about her or took any notice of her. Even her initiation ceremony was so simple. The master only had time for a cup of tea and then he was busy looking after the senior sister. Not to mention her uncles and other senior fellow apprentices from the other peaks, they didn't care about her. Even the guys from the outer sect only talked about her as the daughter of the elder's savior. The elder is benevolent and righteous, far inferior to senior sister Yun 11, these things. Whenever everyone mentions the disciples of Tianjian Peak, they are Yun 11. When it comes to the fairies of Tianjian Peak, they are referring to Yun 11. Her favorite senior brother is also her, his eyes are always on Yun 11. Forget about master. After she arrived, she left the task of teaching her to her senior brother, while he taught Yun 11 step by step. Why? The key is that Yun 11 is still so good looking, so innocent, so pure and independent, like a fairy from 9 days ago. With such a perfect person out there, who would see me? At that time, Yan Yan was already feeling very unhappy. Especially after she knew something. The senior brother told her that the meaning of their existence as a brother and sister was to help and assist Yun 11. He is gold and can sharpen thunder. She is wood, the main healer. The two of them exist at Tianjian Peak just for Yun 11. Later, she actually heard her master and the leader mention it several times about assisting Yun 11 in the future. She became more and more aggrieved and felt that Yun 11 was blocking the way. She wants to make bright pearls and red flowers, not fisheye beads or green leaves for foil. Yun 11 was in seclusion, and she and her senior brother were the only ones in Tianjian Peak. As they got along day and night, she fell in love with her senior brother more and more. She was also not sure whether her senior brother's sometimes ambiguous attitude towards her was pampering or love. But she was already addicted. But Yun 11 is out of seclusion. The soul of the senior brother was taken away again. No matter how indifferent Yun 11 is, he is still so stupid. She reminded her senior brother many times, but was lectured by him several times. Once, she provoked her secretly and was severely beaten by him. From then on, she hated Yun 11 even more. This time in the secret realm, she had been following Ren Ping. She hopes to take this opportunity to make her senior brother fall in love with her. But his senior brother coldly rejected him again. In the secret realm, she met a pair of fellow Taoists who practiced dual cultivation. She was envious, and Mu Ling encouraged her not to give up. She asks the wood spirit for help. Later, she pretended to be injured and drugged Ren Ping. The two had skin-to-skin contact. But even this doesn't stop senior brother's heart. He said that as long as you are here for a day, he will not want me. So, I can only let you disappear. After saying this, Yan Yan laughed and left. Therefore, she didn't care about old feelings, but she told the truth in order to retaliate, torture, and trample Yun 11, and enjoy the victory to cover up her inferiority complex. As Yun 11 listened, she felt that something was wrong, but she couldn't speak. The secret realm was quickly closed. Yun 11 couldn't get out. Yan Yan left her wood spirit in the secret realm. The wood spirit greedily absorbed the spiritual energy in Yun 11's danshan, slowly turned it to her own use, and slowly grew up. Yun 11's efforts to rely on the spiritual energy absorbed by her roots eventually turned into nutrients for the wood spirit that attached to her body. 50 years passed by in a flash. The secret realm is open again. Yun 11 originally thought that she would be able to see Yan Yan again. But it was Renping who came. Renping's golden and sharp energy was used, and the metal defeated the wood. The wood immediately escaped. "My good senior sister, is that you?" Renping reached out and brushed the tree. After Mu Ling left, Yun 11's Danshan suddenly absorbed a trace of spiritual energy, and she seemed to be able to slowly mobilize the spiritual energy. "Junior brother, thank you for coming to save senior sister," Yun 11 said gratefully. She was busy gathering spiritual energy, and pieces of tree bark began to fall off her body. Her eyelids seemed to be moving. Ken. What she saw was Renping's cold eyes. "Sister, I'm sorry." It turns out that it was Renping who really wanted Yun 11 to die. His heart is much crueler than Yan Yan. He has great ambitions, but he has been told since childhood that he is just a vassal of Yun 11, and he can't stand it. Yun 11 is always aloof, and the more she rejects him, the more he feels looked down upon. Yun 11 had inherited the swordsmanship from her master, but he, a disciple of the metal system, could not. The master also said that his swordsmanship can only be passed down to one person. Is this true? In the competition, Yun 11 deliberately failed him, which made him feel intolerable. As long as Yun 11 is here, he will not be able to get ahead. He will not get the biggest rewards and the most useful resources, nor will he get the martial arts inheritance from the strongest people in the mainland. Not long after he started, he knew that Yun 11 must die. "But I made an oath long ago, so I can't do it myself. That time in the sword cave, I deliberately suppressed my cultivation to form pills there, just to use my strength to kill you. Unfortunately, Master even used such a precious teleportation talisman for you and rescued you in time. Otherwise you will be dead by then. After that, I knew that as long as Master was here, I couldn't kill you. So I changed my strategy and started to express my love for you. Now, everything you have is mine. You and I are both cultivators, and your abilities can still be used by me. No, when you die, even if I am infatuated with you, no one will doubt me. It can be said that it kills two birds with one stone. I never loved you. But everyone doesn't think so. Especially stupid junior sister. The reason why you were plotted by Yan Yan was also because of me. I knew Yan Yan loved me, so I took advantage of her and used her to deal with you. She thought she was provoking my love for you, but she didn't know that I had been irritating her. I also deliberately fell into her trap and took her body, but I was not responsible. She finally couldn't hold it back and attacked you. In fact, when she used the wood spirit to do it, I was not far away. Yes, I knew she would get it. Wood spirit. You have been lost for the past 50 years, and Master just wants to find you. He went too far. He didn't let me break through, and made me suppress my cultivation and not advance to nascent soul, just to force me to help him come to the secret realm to find you. You, after disappearing for so long, he still refuses to pass on my inheritance. I really can't wait any longer. Everything you have will be mine." Renping snapped his fingers. Just like that, when Yun 11 was trying hard to mobilize her spiritual power and had just transformed back into a human form, a demonic cultivator suddenly arrived. Junior brother colludes with demon cultivators? Yun 11 wanted to expose her Danshan, but the opponent was obviously on guard and used the magic power first. How could the weak Yun 11 be their opponent? Damn it, they also conducted a brutal soul search before she died. What Renping wants is Lu Yun's inherited swordsmanship. Yun 11 falls. 2 chapters in 1. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 386. Although Yun 11 died, Renping still did not completely let her go. He used the magic secret method to retain a part of her soul and put it into a soul-calling seal. Having suffered from low self-esteem for many years, he wanted Yun 11 to watch him gradually become a master. Of course, he wanted to stimulate Lu Yun. If Yun 11's spirit persists, Lu Yun must sense it. Lu Yun cherishes Yun 11, but if Yun 11's soul is not intact, he cannot be reincarnated. How should he feel sad? He will definitely go to heaven and earth to retrieve Yun 11's soul. At least the rest of his life will be wasted, or at worst his Taoist heart will be damaged. When the time comes, Tianjian Peak will naturally be inherited by himself. When Nianbai dies, the entire Qingyun sect will be his. Moreover, with Yun 11's spirit, he might be able to manipulate, control, or threaten Lu Yun one day in the future. Renping believes that one day it will happen. Therefore, Renping hid Yun 11's soul seal in a secret weapon, and then killed the demon cultivator just now to disperse the demonic energy. After some arrangement, the entire cave was not only filled with demonic energy, but also had countless traces of fighting. It seemed that Yun 11 met the demon cultivator, and the two sides fought a battle. Yun 11 was eventually brutally killed by the demon cultivator. Before Renping left, he also took away many of Yun 11's things. He didn't touch things like storage rings that had the mark of divine consciousness, but for the others, he picked over them and took away most of them. Renping then hid nearby. Not long after he left, Yan Yan arrived. As soon as she entered the secret realm, she was tricked and trapped by Renping. No, as soon as she broke free, she came over thinking about the wood spirit and her senior sister. When she saw the body of her senior sister, she cried and laughed. What she was crying about was that Yun 11 was finally dead, and she was crying with joy. The funny thing is that there is no need for her to do it herself, and from now on, the senior brother will be completely hers. Yan Yan retrieved Mu Ling. After standing for a while and saying something to Mu Ling, she did another unscrupulous thing. She felt that Yun 11 was lovable because of her beautiful face, so she cut off the entire face of Yun 11 and allowed the wood spirit to preserve its life. After doing this, she was afraid for a while, lest people discover what she had done. She asked the wood spirit for help again. The wood spirit absorbed Yun 11's spiritual energy and was filled with spiritual power. It easily covered the secret land with trees and hid the cave. Until the secret place was closed, no one discovered this secret cave. When everyone returned to the outside world, they realized that there was an explosion outside. Yun 11's soul lamp went out, and everyone knew the news of Yun 11's death. Renping Yanyan knelt in front of the master and said that they had searched hard for 2 months but found nothing. Liu Yun was greatly stimulated. The apprentice disappeared and died again, but he, the master, could do nothing. He couldn't accept that he couldn't find her body, couldn't even take revenge or even find out the truth. Especially this is the second time. Before Yun 11, he had an apprentice who also died at a young age. It took him 500 years of pain to accept Yun 11 and love him in every possible way, but he still lost it and he couldn't forgive himself. Renping hated it again. What a master! Didn't he care about what he got in the secret place at all, but only cared about a dead person? She didn't even realize she had given birth to a baby. 2 months ago, Renping found a token from Yun 11 who died, and then got a chance to receive a kung fu inheritance. In this way, he took a step further and directly reached a greater realm. Sure enough, after learning that Yun 11 still had a soul that was not destroyed, Lu Yun just wanted to recover it, so he handed over the entire Tianjian Peak to Renping. In this way, Renping generously invested all the resources on himself. From the warehouse to the forbidden area, from the library to the treasure house, he was not polite at all. Although Lu Yun didn't teach him any special skills, he had already stolen them from his sword skills and mental skills by searching Yun 11's soul. Secretly, he has been studying. With the accumulation of resources and elixirs, his cultivation level also improved by leaps and bounds. As for Yan Yan, after his status rose, he looked down upon her even more. He just treats Yan Yan as a plaything. 50 years later, the secret realm is reopened. The Qingyun sect monks worked together to search, and the cave finally reappeared. Yun 11's body has long since rotted, and it is impossible to find the truth from the body. Those who can enter the secret cave and see the scene are all golden elixir monks. Their strength is limited and there is no way to restore, deduce, or trace the scene. Fortunately, there was obvious demonic energy in the cave, and the person lying next to Yun 11 was clearly a demon cultivator. So after the photo jade was taken to the outside, Lu Yun directly joined the demon cult. The demon sect secretly used magic skills to kill Taoist geniuses, and its intentions were revealed. The war between good and evil, which had been in truce for many years, was about to begin. For hundreds of years, Liu Yun fought on the front line. When Nian Bei's life was approaching, he made a last-ditch effort on the battlefield and severely damaged the demon sect. Liu Yun became the new head of Qingyun section. Ren Pings finally became the elder of Tianjian Peak, and his power took another step forward. This year, with the help of Yan Yan Muling, Ren Ping successfully passed through the God Transformation Tribulation and the Heart Demon Tribulation and became the new God Transformation of the Qingyun sect. Now that the sect has someone to rely on, Liu Yun feels relieved. After using the secret method to trace Yun 11's soul again and targeting the demon sect again, Lu Yun was no longer fettered and appointed Ren Ping as the new leader, and he once again entered the battlefield. There, he saw Yun 11, whom he had not seen for hundreds of years. He thought it was dazzling, but no matter how he looked at it, there was no doubt that it was Yun 11. The exact same face, the same aura, and even that soul was in her body. That's Yun 11. Even if he knew this was a trap, he still had to rescue his beloved disciple. This time, what awaits him is the execution of a dragnet. It stands to reason that as the strongest man in the continent, it would not be difficult for him to escape with his invincible swordsmanship, but for some reason, the two demon sect's incarnations, who have never been his opponents, not only were able to perfectly avoid his unbreakable swordsmanship this time, and had already prepared all kinds of plots. Yun 11 was rescued. Just a puppet. Lu Yun ripped off the cloud of spiritual energy that contained Yun 11's obvious aura from the puppet, and directly crushed the wood spirit into pieces. He knew that it was this wood spirit that had stolen Yun 11's spiritual power. With trembling hands, he took off the face and put it in his arms. Yun 11's soul was held in his palm. She finally returned to her master, who saved her, but the last scene she saw was a battlefield full of smoke. Qingyun sect was surrounded and suppressed, and her master vomited blood, was hit by countless soul-eating nails, and his body disappeared. Scenes. Yun 11 was so stimulated that she burst out with tremendous strength, broke free from the scriptures, and flew towards the master. The master has been looking for her for so long. This time, even if her soul is gone, she will still stay with the master. What happened next, Yun 11 doesn't know. But needless to say, Qingyun sect will face a disaster, but Ren Ping will be fine. The demon cult was able to kill Lu Yun only because of Ren Ping. His identity was very problematic. Undoubtedly, after that, Ren Ping can be either a Taoist hero or a demonic general. As long as he restrains himself, he will be a hero of the world. Liu Yun, like Yongzi, has an incomplete soul and cannot be reincarnated. Therefore, Yun 11 hoped that if he could come back, even if he died, he would not be able to implicate his master, nor harm his fellow disciples, nor allow Ren Ping Yanyan and others to rise to power, nor cause chaos in the world because of their selfish interests. Taoran couldn't calm down for a long time after accepting the plot. The hatred and pain brought out by the memory of Yoon 11's only one body was so strong that it made her heart ache unbearably. The pain from the inside out was much less than the pain of being struck by lightning just now. Lu Yoon and Yoon 11, whether it was the master-disciple relationship or the love between a man and a woman, made her heartbroken. But, indeed, there are many things in this plot that are difficult to figure out. For example, how come there are wood spirits in the secret place for the King Yun sex pill-forming rewards? Although it is difficult to cultivate the soul transformation nascent soul in this world, there are so many golden elixir cultivators. There are such good things that should have been discovered long ago. Yan Yan is not the only wood spirit root in King Yun section. She has average talent, mediocre understanding, low magic skills, and bad character. The wood spirit is blind, so how could she be chosen? For example, wood spirits are elves born and raised by the earth. They should be pure and kind. How can they be so low level? Sometimes he helps plot against Ren Ping, and sometimes he helps plot against Yoon 11. He even cuts people's skin. He even absorbs the monk's spiritual energy and vitality without any bottom line. This is not like a wood spirit, but rather like a tyrant. Monster. What's even stranger is Ren Ping. Yoon 11 didn't know whether he knew magic skills. But it is true that he knows magic well and possesses magic weapons. But how? When he dealt with Yoon 11, he also brought a demon cultivator with him. Dao and demon are in opposition. How can the demon cultivator be used by him? Did he control the demon cultivator? Or is he cooperating with the demon cultivator? If we talk about cooperation, when did it happen? Yoon 11's soul has been hidden by him. How could Lu Yoon not feel it when he was beside him? Unless he used some shameful and unethical means. In the subsequent battlefield, it was obvious that he had given Liu Yunbui's unique swordsmanship to the demon sect, so that the other party could be more prepared. How could he collude with the other party? What methods and approaches should be used? What's the benefit to him? Just to get rid of Liu Yun? There is definitely collusion between Ren Ping and the demon sect. But the time of this collusion was before he entered King Yun sect? Or the secret realm later? Unable to figure it out, Taoran let out a long sigh and began to search through his memories, hoping to heal his wounds. Now, Yoon 11 has just been out of seclusion for 3 months and is waiting for the sect competition in half a year and the opening of the secret realm in 3 years. Say it's early or not, and say it's late. The most fortunate thing for Taoran is that Yoon 11's personality and attitude are highly similar to her own. In this way, she should be able to play Yoon 11 well in front of Lu Yoon, who dotes on Yoon 11, and Ren Ping, who often secretly stares at Yoon 11. The reason why Yoon 11 was struck by lightning while sitting here was also a kind of skill. After her inner strength reached a certain level, she was able to cultivate both internal and external strength with a quick burst of thunder. It triggers the inner alchemy to rotate rapidly, mobilizes the thunder power in the body, absorbs thunder, and protects it. It has half the effect and can also be used to properly exercise the body. Although lightning strikes are scary, she has thunder roots and is naturally close to lightning. As long as she doesn't overdo it, it won't be a serious problem. So every once in a while, Yoon 11 would use this method to summon some thunder from the sky to help him practice. Taoran gritted his teeth. She was just such an unlucky person. Sooner or later, she would be struck by lightning. Taoran was about to use magic to repair the thunder injury, but stopped. What she is best at is turning losses into profits and turning dangers into safety, right? Can you take advantage of it this time? Maybe it works. Now she is in the back mountain. In the past, their 3 disciples all practiced in this area, so they could use their brains. After thinking about it, Taoran smashed a piece of jade on his body. Well, it was a bit of a waste, but I hope it works. This jade was given by Liu Yun and can be used for summoning. She gritted her teeth and mobilized the scattered lightning power in her body to aggravate the wound. Severe pain hit her and she fainted. In less than 10 breaths, flowing clouds came through the sky. When Tao Ran woke up again, he was already on her white jade bed. Liu Yun, who has sharp eyebrows and starry eyes, is dressed in white and looks like a fairy, is pacing beside the bed. "Master!" she shouted. "Is it better?" Liu Yun's face was filled with anxiety. "Well, it doesn't hurt anymore. My master has treated your wounds, and your wounds have all healed. It's not a serious problem." Liu Yun handed over another bowl of medicine, thanked her Taoli, and took a sip. "Looking at your wounds, they were all caused by lightning, and there were no other external injuries. And your internal strength is stable, your spiritual power is not damaged, and there are no internal injuries. Why were you injured by lightning? Or is there other reasons?" Acting skills come up. Tao Ran did not forget Yun 11's calm and cold persona. She reacted restrainedly and just frowned slightly. The disciple is also unclear. The disciple was just exercising his power as usual. After triggering the thunder, for some reason, all his spiritual power suddenly became unable to be mobilized. His whole body was out of control and he could only move like a mortal. No one came to ask for help. The disciple could only forcefully resist the thunder. If the disciple had not been born with lightning roots and had a natural affinity that could transform him, he would have died when the first thunder struck. Yun 11 took a deep breath. After 7 thunders, the disciple still couldn't even open the storage ring. In desperation, the disciple could only smash the jade pendant and summon the master. The more Liu Yun listened, the tighter his brows became. "Master, is there something wrong with my disciple's practice?" Liu Yun shook his head and threw out a ball of golden light to wrap around Yun 11. After closing his eyes and feeling it, he continued to shake his head. "There is no problem with your cultivation. Master has always paid attention to your cultivation, and there is absolutely no possibility of anything going wrong. Yun 11, if you think about it carefully, were there any doubts around you at that time? You just said that you smashed the jade pendant in a hurry. Why did you urgent? What situation did you discover? Why are you anxious? You have a calm temperament and don't get anxious when things happen. There must be a reason why you are anxious to summon Master, right?" Tao Ran gave Liu Yun a big thumbs up. "It's good to talk to smart people." She showed off her skills slightly, and when she clicked, the other party would catch her immediately. Only in this way can it be real enough. "Liu Yun, don't worry about it. This matter can be big or small. If you are injured in the teacher's sect, then close the teacher's sect and come to the truth as soon as possible." Tao Ran stood up and sat on the edge of the bed. When the sky thunder came down, the disciple always felt that there were eyes staring at him not far away, and then he found that he had lost all his spiritual power. At that moment, there seemed to be a flash of demonic energy. When the disciple was anxious, he had no choice but to summon the master. But the disciple was unable to control himself at that time, and it was impossible to determine whether it was due to demonic cultivation or dazzling eyes. Demonic energy. Demonic cultivator. Have a good rest first." Liu Yun rushed out, and when the figure disappeared, Tao Ran heard that he was already communicating with the leader Nian Bai, asking for cooperation in a thorough investigation. Tao Ran smiled and lay back. She spoke vaguely so that she wouldn't be afraid of revealing her secrets. The master was led astray by her, and he was very busy next. She had problems practicing Qigong. Now it is confirmed that the problem does not originate from her, so it can only be caused by other human factors. Other factors, what could they be? Man-made. Who did it? Next, it's a good show. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 387. Tao Ran lay down peacefully. To be honest, Lu Yun really had nothing to say to her. When he just rushed out, he didn't forget to add several layers of restrictions to her residence. In the entire Qingyun sect, he and Nian Bai are probably the only ones who can enter and exit her place now. Haha, under his own specious guidance, how could he not be nervous? If there is a demon cultivator who can enter and exit Qingyun sect and reach Tianjian Peak without anyone noticing, is that really a big deal? What Yun 11 triggered was the thunder from the sky. Although it was not the thunder power that should be used in calamity, a monk who was not afraid of ordinary thunder would at least have a golden elixir. And to avoid being discovered by Yun 11, who is approaching the late stage of Jindan, those people are most likely nascent soul. If someone like this sneaks into the demon sect, there will be endless troubles. Today he dares to secretly deal with the talented disciples of Qingyun sect, and tomorrow he dares to assassinate them directly. This matter is no small matter. Therefore, if Tao Ran makes such a fuss, the entire Qingyun sect will be mobilized. If you can't find the magic cultivator, it might be some kind of magic weapon. Liu Yun will still search vigorously. The entire Qingyun sect, especially Tianjian Peak, will be the top priority of the search. Tao Ran hoped that this surprise inspection would reveal Ren Ping's secret. If he is now connected with the demon sect, he will definitely find something. If no clues can be found, it is the problem of the Qingyun sect disciples. Every disciple will be strictly investigated, and the sect will also increase vigilance and strengthen defense. In short, it is a good thing. In addition, Ren Ping and Yan Yan, who are both practicing in the back mountain, will be punished even if they are not suspected. There was a problem in the back mountain, and they didn't even notice it. That would be a dereliction of duty. Yun 11 called for help, but they did not respond, so they would be punished. Tao Ran was at ease, just waiting for the results from Lu Yun. This world is not bad if there are people who love and protect you. In a happy mood, she finally had the mind to begin to experience the magic. Put your hand into the medicine bowl and twist it, then use the cleaning technique to get it clean. So interesting. With a flash of inspiration in his hand, he threw a fireball towards the oil lamp beside the bed, but it almost burned the curtain. There was a spiritual fruit on the table. When I used the pulling technique, the fruit fell directly under the bed. The formula and techniques are correct, but she lacks touch. Tao Ran was suddenly a little nervous. This spell is a delicate job. It's more troublesome than practicing martial arts. In the past, Yu Tong's martial arts skills were only supportive, so it didn't matter if she was careless. But now Yun 11 has to fight and advance all the way, competing with people and with heaven. He only has a magic spell, but if he can't use it, how can he compete with Yun 11? A sense of urgency suddenly arose, and Tao Ran couldn't lie down any longer. The fun she had just had was gone, and she began to doubt whether she had made the right choice in this world. Also, the man in black who asked her to choose to become an immortal in the previous world would not appear when she would appear. It was strange that even though she had met him twice, she still couldn't remember what that person looked like. She only remembered that he had a pair of bottomless black eyes. Why? Tao Ran has always been prepared for danger in times of peace. In a hurry, she immediately crossed her legs and took the time to practice some small spells. She thought that she had to find a place to familiarize herself with all the spells several times, otherwise it would be a big deal to make a fool of herself, but it would be troublesome to suffer losses and even her life in a fight. She still had to think carefully about her thoughts. What sea of consciousness, golden elixir, she felt like a baby who urgently needed to understand and feel this bizarre world. Half a day passed quickly. When the band sounded and someone came to invite him, Tao Ran immediately stopped playing with his round golden elixir. The person who came to invite her was senior brother Lu, who was at the same time. He said that the headmaster and the elders invited her to speak in the sect's meeting hall. In the meeting hall, dozens of peaks away, Taoran's scalp felt numb. She had not tried flying with a sword yet. "Senior brother, I'm not fully recovered, can you give me a ride?" "Of course it's okay, junior sister, come up." Taoran shamelessly took brother Liu's sword. God knows, when Fijian was up, she had no intention of enjoying the beautiful scenery because her legs were weak. In the mid-air, passing through the clouds and skimming through the fog, it was quite thrilling. Fortunately, she had learned martial arts from Wea and quickly mastered balance. She sighed silently. If she wanted to keep her secret, she would have to work twice as hard. "Junior sister, are you feeling better?" Senior brother Lu was the one who later lost to Yun 11 in the competition. He was the #1 golden elixir in the sect and was a disciple of the head Nian Bai. "Thank you, senior brother. It's much better." "Junior sister, are you worried about junior brother Renping and junior sister Yan Yan? Although they have been taken away, they should be fine." "Already brought it?" "Very good." It turned out that after Lu Yun came out of Yun 11's place, he rushed to the back mountain as quickly as possible. While he asked Nian Bai to help identify suspicious people in the sect, he used his spiritual consciousness to scan the peaks of the peaks, and then went to the warehouse to get them in person. "Come and purify the magic beads. The magic beads are sensitive to monsters, and will automatically light up when encountering demonic energy." Lu Yun searched around but found nothing, and then remembered that Yun 11 had asked for help when he was in trouble but had no response, so he naturally thought of Renping and Yan Yan. He suddenly felt a little angry. When he went to rescue Yun 11, he naturally saw the other two disciples on the escape light. Those two people were also in the back mountain and were still together, but they didn't notice anything happened to their senior sister. He has read the entire Tianjian Peak twice, and there is no demonic energy at all. Nian Bai, who arrived, looked for other hills and found no outsiders. The two avatars unanimously decided to investigate the doorman and the magic weapon. "Let's start from Tianjian Peak." Therefore, the residences of Renping and Yan Yan were the first to be affected. The two of them didn't know that Taoran had revealed about the demon cultivator, so when Lu Yun entered with the magic beads, they didn't take precautions in advance. As a result, in a cabinet that Renping had placed multiple restrictions on, Lu Yun found an incense burner that looked ordinary, but was attracted by the magic beads, and had a slight amount of demonic energy dissipating. Where did it come from? When Taoran entered the meeting hall, what he saw was the scene of Lu Yun and Nian Bai interrogating Renping, who was kneeling on the ground. Taoran was secretly happy. "As a student, what are you most afraid of? Wasn't it just a surprise inspection? And it would be interesting if we really found something from the demon sect in Renping. Therefore, the time for Renping and Momin to collude has to be pushed forward." But it hadn't been long since he formed the elixir, so how could the demon sect choose a foundation building monk? So this time may be earlier. Is it possible that this guy has a grudge against the Qingyun sect? Is he originally from the demon sect? Has he been a member of the demon sect from the beginning? "Master, my disciple bought this incense burner in Fangxi. I had no idea it would be a demonic thing." Renping knocked on the ground heavily. "Bought it? Is there such a good thing in the market? Which shop? Since you don't know what this is, why do you put so many restrictions on it?" Lu Yun's eyes were like a torch, and he was not easy to fool. Renping's heart burned like fire. He had just found out that his senior sister was injured, so he didn't know what kind of demonic energy had harmed his senior sister, but instead harmed himself. He has been in the business for decades, and no outsider has entered his room. Who would have thought that the cheap master would come today, or would he bring the magic purification beads with him? Today, I'm taking a leave as usual, and a new plot has begun, so I'll update it in the next 2 days. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 388. In the meeting hall, Lu Yun continued to cross-examine. Do you know the effectiveness of this incense burner? Yes. Renping thought about it several times and had an idea. If he says he doesn't know, no one will believe him. This incense burner was obtained from a stall set up by Yi Sangxiu in Fangxi. When I bought it, the stall owner told me that it was equipped with message incense. No matter how far away the other party is, the message can be received. But the disciple has not used it even once pass. He only told half the truth. This incense burner is used by him to communicate with the demon section, but the time has not come yet, but it is true that he has never used it. Absurd. Disciple, don't dare lie, Renping kowtowed frequently. The apprentice heard from senior sister that she will go out for training soon. The apprentice is afraid that the senior sister will be far away and will not be able to contact her. With the senior sister having this, the apprentice can use the messenger incense to contact the senior sister at any time. So, the entire King Yun sect who doesn't know his feelings for Yun 11? It was just right for him to show off at this time. It's just infatuation, how could it be wrong? But the message sent by this incense burner can connect to the magic gate. Nian Bai was also angry. He waved his sleeves, and a spiritual light flashed out from his palm, wrapping the incense burner layer by layer. The outer copper pattern of the incense burner immediately began to peel off, and finally, the true color inside was revealed. It was a red incense burner, and what was carved on it was a string of magic runes. Under the influence of the magic beads, traces of black and red gas appeared and disappeared on the incense burner. I don't know, I really don't know. I really thought this was a message-carrying incense burner blessed by a special formation. Ren was honest on the surface, but he was really panicked in his heart. The disciple joined the King Yun sect when he was 13 years old and devoted himself to cultivation. He worked hard and had no different intentions. The farthest place the disciple has been to was the Taoist Grand Competition 10 years ago. At other times, the disciple was either in the sect or in the section doing a mission with my fellow apprentices. This disciple has never had the chance to come into contact with the demon sect. Please ask Master for a clear warning. Silly Yan Yan rushed out and knelt beside Renping. Disciple can testify that after buying this incense burner, senior brother thought he had found a treasure, so he showed it to his disciple at that time. Disciple also asked for it, but senior brother said it was to be given to senior sister. If senior brother had different intentions, how could he do it? Let the disciples discover the incense burner? It can be seen that buying this incense burner was an accident. Yan Yan just helped Renping lie. When Chao Ran saw this, he sneered in his heart. This Yan Yan is really infatuated. For her to come forward like this is not because she trusts Renping, but because even if Renping is a demon, she will not care about her own safety. She probably forgot that her family's destruction was related to the demon sect. Over there, Renping was very grateful for this fact that could prove his lie and nodded repeatedly. That's true. This disciple has never even come into contact with anyone from the demon sect, so how can he recognize that this is an object from the demon sect? Yan Yan, Master still has to get the magic purification beads to sense this incense burner, let alone senior brother? Senior brother must have gotten it unintentionally. Master, please forget the blame. In fact, Lu Yun and Nian Bai also thought of these points. The incense burner showed no traces of use, which showed that Renping had indeed not been exposed to the magic section. The monster must have been used to hide it. Liu Yun looked at Yungzi and asked her if she had any ideas. Tao Ran nodded. Junior brother, you said you bought this incense burner to contact me. Yun 11 walked towards Renping. Yes. Did you know that I will be going out for training soon? Master, as expected, there is someone from the demon sect who wants to harm my disciple. For a moment, fear flashed across Chao Ran's face. She had no hope of relying on this incense burner to bring down Renping. Since Renping lied, she would continue to follow Renping's story. It just depends on who takes everyone away. Master, the demon sect must have found out about the disciples' plans to go out in the near future, so they plotted against the disciple. They want to rely on the contact between the disciple and the disciple to keep track of the disciple's location and whereabouts while the disciple is out. I'm afraid that I want to do harm to my disciple. Just like the situation in Huishan today, if the master arrives a little late, the disciple will most likely die. It can be seen that the disciple has been targeted by people from the demon sect, and the demon sect monsters have infiltrated the sect and the city. For the sake of the sect's stability and everyone's safety, I hope Master and Master will investigate thoroughly. Since she was using the topic to her advantage, it would not be easy for Renping if she couldn't catch him. She would simply investigate the Qingyun sect thoroughly and find a layer of protection for her. The faces of the two transformed gods changed drastically. Yun 11 is the most promising genius disciple of the section for the demon sect. Instead of letting her grow into the next Lu Yun, isn't it the simplest and most effective way to kill her early on? Judging from today's events, Yun 11's guess makes sense. The demon sect can control Renping's psychology and take advantage of Renping. This shows that not only has it penetrated deeply, but it is also well informed. After Lu Yun and Nian Bai looked at each other, they decided to continue to expand the scope of the thorough investigation. Yun 11 also said that she is willing to be the first to accept all inspections, from herself to her exercises to her personal belongings. In front of everyone, she was frank, even taking out all the storage rings. She set an example, and others followed suit. Qingyun sect began a major inspection. Renping was carefully inspected by the two avatars. Renping was in bad luck. Although no magic power or magic energy was found on his body, a jade box with complicated restrictions that even Lu Yun and Nian Bai couldn't open was found in his storage ring. Renping said that this was what he got during the last training session, and he kept it because he couldn't open it. But the two gods agreed that this was not a Taoist thing. That being the case, after the two elders looked at each other, Lu Yun struck with 2 fingers, and a ball of sharp gold light hit the jade box. In an instant, the entire jade box was shattered into jade chips. When the ban was triggered, the contents of the box were destroyed on their own, turning into specks of light and dissipating in the air. Nian Bai has the twin spiritual roots of thunder and fire. He used the thunder and fire energy to cleanse the entire palace, and the monster disappeared from the world. Renping Zong tried his best to control his expression, but still couldn't hide the regret in his eyes. Tao Ran stood beside him and could feel that his breathing was a little heavier. Lu Yun, although Renping is not suspected of colluding with the demon sect, he unintentionally concealed the demon object. His crime is unforgivable. From now on, I will punish you as a master for concentrating on your mistakes. Do you have any objections? Disciple sincerely submits. In addition, when Yun 11 was in danger at the back of the mountain, Yu and Yan Yan neither practiced nor were aware of anything, and even the senior sister's call for help was unknown. It was very disappointing for the teacher. In order to allow you to reflect on yourself without any distractions, Lu Rui sent him to his post. Ping, go to Siguo Cave, Renping, you can cultivate there for 2 years. This time, Renping knelt down and begged. After thinking about the cave, there was nothing, but there were restrictions placed by the master. If you think about it, you can only practice internal cultivation. There is no food or drink, no external objects, and you cannot cast any spells. Only the freezing cold wind is with you. It is difficult to improve your cultivation level. Spell training is forbidden. In Renping's opinion, it is just a waste of time. That's all. But that's not the point. Renping was worried because if he spent 2 years like this, he would miss the sect competition that was held every 100 years in 3 months. This competition will determine the ranking within the sect and determine the allocation of resources and opportunities. According to the usual practice, only the top 10 of the sect will have the opportunity to participate in the trip to the secret realm that will be held every 50 years in 3 years' time. He is going to lose resources and opportunities. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 389. Lu Yun had made up his mind and directly signaled to the leader. Nian Bai nodded and summoned his eldest disciple Lu Rurang to take Renping away. Yan Yan was heartbroken when she thought that she would not be able to see her senior brother for 2 years. When she saw the pleading look in her senior brother's eyes, she immediately stepped forward to help him plead for mercy. Shut up. You can't protect yourself. Are you begging for him? Lu Yun was angry. Lu Yun directly asked Lu Rui to take Renping away, and placed a ban on the head of the Siguo cave. No one could come within 50 feet of the Siguo cave. Yan Yan cried, and Lu Yun became even more angry. Those who are cultivators of immortality are destined to fail to achieve great things if they don't think about cultivation and are full of love. If he hadn't been entrusted by his old friend, he would never look down on Yan Yan. He believed that he took good care of Yan Yan and gave him some guidance, but it was hard to carve out rotten wood. When she came to the Qingyun sect, she still wanted to be the one praised by all the stars, but she refused to work hard and make progress. She was so delusional that she didn't realize it. Instead, she always complained that she didn't praise her enough. Lu Yun was disappointed with this. Yan Yan, not long after forming the elixir, his cultivation is unstable. For the next year, he will be confined to practice. Yan Yan was afraid when she heard the word no feed. What she fears most is being locked up for cultivation. She has little interest in spiritual practice. Her wood spirit root was not good at fighting, and she never found practice interesting. When she was in the family, she relied on elixirs to build her foundation. The successful formation of elixirs mostly relies on the elixirs rewarded by the section. This means she will be imprisoned for a year, but will it cost her life? She didn't do anything wrong, so why? She quickly pulled on her senior sister's sleeve and begged. Taoran had actually been looking at her. There is still no greenwood hairpin on Yan's cigarette. That is, it turned into a hairpin-shaped wood spirit. At this moment, Yan Yan grabbed her hand, and Taoran held her hand tightly. He quietly used a trace of spiritual power to carefully explore her body, confirming that there was no Yungzi who was greedy day and night after turning into a tree. The woody scent that absorbs her spiritual energy. So up to now, Yan Yan should have not conquered the wood spirit. It seems that she didn't lie that day. The wood spirit should have been found in the secret place where the sect rewarded the new golden elixir monks. At this moment, Yan Yan has just formed the elixir, and the secret place is not yet open to her. Taoran also remembered that she had gone to see Yan Yan and Renping before Lei Li in the back mountain today. Because Yan Yan was not good at cultivation, she was afraid that her trip to the secret place in a few days would be dangerous, so she pestered Renping to recall and analyze the beasts and treasures in the secret place for her. Yun 11 also gave Yan Yan some pointers. Later, Renping helped set up the formation and took her on an adventure in imitation of a secret. It seems that the two of them were busy in the formation and did not notice anything unusual in the mountains behind them. Taoran suddenly had an idea. Since junior sister is begging for help like this, of course it's hard for her to refuse, right? As the best senior sister, I naturally want to help. Taoran, master, my disciple is not in serious trouble. Just be lenient with my junior sister. Or, can you change the punishment? Lu Yun narrowed his eyes. What do you think? Junior sister, don't you still have a reward from the master's secret place? Why not? Let's use rewards to compensate for punishments. Her chance of wood spirit was cut off. Yan Yan didn't know that she was being set up by her senior sister, so she quickly pulled Taoran and nodded frequently. Yes, yes, I know I was wrong. I won't go to the secret place anymore. She didn't care about the kind of sect rewards. It's said to be a reward, but after entering the secret land, there are also secret land missions. You have to submit a lot of sect items when you come out. What kind of reward? To put it bluntly, it means working hard for the master. There are also some strange beasts among them, many of which are dangerous. Senior brother Zhao from the peak next door is said to have suffered from the disease there in his early years. Now he can only take care of flowers and plants, eat and wait to die. She inquired and found out that everyone was just looking for flowers, plants, strange rocks, and monsters. If there was anything good, it would have been taken away by others over the past few thousand years. She has no shortage of spiritual stones, so there is no need to take risks. It's best not to go. What's more, now that her senior brother is grounded, she is even less in the mood. Lu Yun snorted, Yun 11, please don't help me plead for mercy. Every monk has a sect mission in the secret place. If she doesn't go, who will do it for her? Master Taoran took a step forward. I'll do it for junior sister. Just in time, I want to catch some thunder spiders to strengthen the magic weapon. Junior sister's task is all on me. She wanted to completely cut off Yan Yan's chance. Taoran winked at Yan Yan and sent a message to tell her that he would give her all the proceeds from the secret land. While transmitting a message to Lu Yun, he said that the junior sister was lonely and helpless, and she loved her junior brother the most. Now that his junior brother is gone, it would be the biggest punishment for her. Instead of letting her complain against her master, and it would be easy for her to be in danger when entering the secret place, it is better for each of us to take a step back. There were people who were willing to help her endure hardships. Yan Yan was very grateful to her senior sister and immediately began to cry and beg as well. But with Yun 11's request, Lu Yun felt a lot softer and felt that what he said was reasonable. After all, Yan Yan is the daughter of her savior. Keeping her safe is the most basic thing. There is no need to use the same standards as an apprentice. Lu Yun glanced at Nian Bai. Nian Bai raised his hand to indicate that he, the master, could just make the decision directly. Then just follow what Yun 11 said and use rewards to offset punishments. Liu Yun thought about it for a while, but he didn't want to let his disciple suffer, so he said again. Yun 11 can help you with the secret mission, but there is no reason for your senior sister to help you do it for nothing, and you can't even think about earning sect points while lying there. So, you have to pay back the points. In this way, calculate how many points the secret mission is worth, you go do other sect tasks and earn enough points to return to your senior sister. Taoran almost couldn't hold back his laughter. Master is strong. Great master. Master is really aware of everything and doesn't let himself be wronged. She glanced at Yan Yan, who was nodding in agreement, thinking that he had taken advantage of him, and couldn't help but call him a fool. Yan Yan is an idiot. He obviously doesn't know how many points the items submitted for the secret mission are worth. No matter what, you will get at least hundreds of points. The items submitted for the entire secret land mission are worth at least 5,000 points. And for an ordinary sect task, sometimes the score can only be over 100 points. With Yan Yan's level and procrastinating temperament, if he can collect 5,000 sect points, it can take as little as 3 years, as many as 5 years, or even 10 or 8 years. It's better to be grounded and practice for a year. I guess it won't be long before she regrets it. And somehow, if she could cut off the chance of being a wood spirit, she would really lose money on this purchase. At this time, Lu Yun's message arrived again. Don't be so kind as to help your junior sister to plead for mercy. Your junior sister has never experienced hardship, she is lazy, she has not been well experienced, she does not understand the ways of the world, and she is too arrogant. Going out to do more tasks for the sect is good for her character, so let her practice for a few years. If she sees more of the world, maybe she will be able to have sex without being constrained by love. What can Taoran say? Help. How can it be? She wanted to applaud. Master is wise. He is really well-intentioned for junior sister. Disciple must not hold back. In this way, the matter was settled. Yan Yan thanked Taoran carefully. It wasn't until she returned to her residence that she felt empty and felt that she had missed or lost something important. Of course, she wouldn't think deeply about it, she just thought that it was because her senior brother was trapped that she felt so lost. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 390. Taoran's commotion cut off Renping and Yan Yan's chances, and he was not at a loss. Most of Lu Yun, Nian Bai, and the elders, peak masters, uncles and even senior brothers like Lu Rui of King Yun sect sent her condolences. Knowing that she had been targeted by the demon sect, the sect reinforced the formation for her residence and gave her 2 formation discs with different defensive abilities. Nian Bai gave her the refined Black Cloud Turtle magic weapon, which when used in a crisis can neutralize 30% of the opponent's attacks within 100 breaths. Liu Yun gave her 5 sword talismans in one breath. In addition to his own 3 paths, there are also the full strike talismans of the other 2 sects of god-forming monks. Lu Yun also used his sect points to ask Yun 11 for a teleportation talisman from the section. If activated in a crisis, it can teleport up to 1,000 miles at a time. There are only 3 in this Fu section. He had already used one to save Yun 11 in his early years. If he added another one, that one would be the only one in the section. This made Nian Bai feel heartbroken. In addition, Lu Yun also brought a piece of ice muscle refining that he had collected for many years. Apply it to your face and knead it into shape to change your face shape. It is a must-have when traveling. The last contact jade was smashed by Taoran, and Lu Yun gave him another piece, leaving a thought on it. Yun 11, you must protect yourself at all times. Master and the sect will always be your support. Lu Yun really had nothing to say to Yun 11. It could be said that he was heartbroken. He sent a lot of things that day. Later, he told her again. Since you have been targeted by the demon sect, for the sake of safety, please don't practice for a while. This was exactly what Taoran meant. She hasn't even practiced wielding a sword yet, how can she practice it? If you are not proficient in spells, you will not be able to cast spells in time when you encounter danger. You are afraid that you will be killed in a matter of minutes. If you don't want to practice, you can find senior brother Lu to do some internal affairs within the section. You have been in seclusion for 10 years, so it would be good to be more familiar with the situation within the sect. Yes. In addition to self-examination, the King Yun sect also started a surprise inspection of the city. Probably because this huge and rigorous investigation came too suddenly, not only did the city catch a dozen demon cultivators and drive away a group of casual cultivators with suspicious identities, but they also actually caught a few outsiders in the sect who secretly practiced demonic arts. Disciples and 2 traitors who escaped from King Yun sect. As soon as the 2 traitors were caught, they actually blew themselves up. After further investigation, it turned out that both of them were demonic cultivators who had taken possession of their bodies. The upper echelons of King Yun sect were shocked. The demon sect has indeed planted a chess piece in the sect. The city and mountain protection formations have all been restarted and reinforced, and defense and surveillance have been strengthened many times. Taoran saw this with great satisfaction. These captured demon cultivators may not have anything to do with Renping. After all, the King Yun sect has nearly 100,000 people from top to bottom, and millions of people in Fangxi and surrounding towns. It is inevitable that they will be infiltrated by their opponents. However, the cleaner the sect is, the harder it will be for Renping and others to think about power and deliver news. Taoran breathed out. It is not difficult to help Yun 11 seek revenge from Renping and the others, but it is a bit troublesome to protect the master and the section. Taoran had a hunch that her time in this world would not be short. I hope the reward can be reasonable. In the past few days, Taoran chose a peak in the back mountain, opened the defensive array plate sent by the sect, installed spiritual stones, released thick fog, and created a few more restrictions to confirm that even Liu Yun could not do it. After entering quietly, he began to ponder and become proficient in spells. From flying with swords to casting various spells. Fortunately, Yun 11's body memory is still there, and all she needs is time. Monks don't need to eat or sleep and can seize time as much as possible. This is probably what Taoran is most satisfied with in this world. After practicing almost day and night for more than 10 days, she felt that she could go to the Golden Elixir secret land. She tried to use the ice that Lu Yun gave her to train her muscles, and adjusted her appearance to look like a popular one, so that she could not find it in the crowd. Then she adjusted her body shape, pushed her cultivation level to the late stage of foundation building, and took a handful ordinary swords disappeared into the dense forest where the sect trained its disciples. She spent 2 days there slaying monsters, and also had a PK with a guy of similar cultivation level, and then she calmly prepared to enter the sect's secret place to do the task in 2 days, to find the wood spirit. Tonight, Taoran was ready to take a rest. She raised her sleeves, and a table of wine and food appeared on the jade table. She could do whatever she wanted, and now she had complete control. This wine is Yun 11's self-brewed spiritual fruit wine, and this dried meat is also a precious beast that Yun 11 has beaten, plus snacks made from 5-grain spiritual wheat and soup made from exquisite chicken and mushrooms. Taoran feels that he must have it. Taste and experience the beauty of being an immortal. However, as soon as the interest arose, he was interrupted. Someone has hit the limit. The voice that came was none other than Yan Yan. Taoran blocked the sound directly, eating and drinking when he should. After eating and drinking, she took another nap. After waking up, she found that Yan Yan was still outside, so she was allowed to come in. "Sister, why are you ignoring me?" Taoran served her spiritual tea. "How can I ignore you? I had a physical condition a few days ago, so I have been checking myself for the past few days. I only realized you were here after I closed my eyes for a while and woke up." When Yan Yan saw that the spirit tea was the best Wu Mei Ling tea allocated to them by the sect, his face looked better. "Senior sister, I was tricked by master," she snorted a few times. "What's wrong?" "I went to see senior brother Lu yesterday and found out that the points for the secret mission are almost 5,000. How come there are so many?" Taoran thought to himself, there are always so many. It's just that she never cared about sect affairs, so naturally she didn't know. "It's only 5,000. Work hard and do the task, and you'll have it soon." "Senior sister, are you kidding me? The last time I went to the field to earn points, I spent a whole day hunting more than a dozen long-toothed rabbits, and then I got more than 30 points. If I keep this speed, I won't have to do anything else in the past 2 years. I am crazy. Do you think I was tricked by master?" Taoran was speechless. Long-toothed rabbit. That's 2 levels. It's for gaining experience for the junior brothers and sisters who are in the chi refining stage. She'd rather go. She is afraid of death, tiredness, and hardship, but she is not afraid of embarrassment. "You know, I have also been killing monsters in the past 2 days. In this unskilled state, I have already reached almost 200 points. Then do you still want to go back to confinement? You know, I even changed the token for entering and exiting the secret place. If you repeat it now, it will be very troublesome." "Sister, I'm not going to beg master. What I mean is that master likes you the most. You go to master to beg for me and let him calm down, or just let him lock me up for a month." Beautiful thought. Tao Ran had already made up his mind to go to the secret place on her behalf. How could he give her an advantage? I'm not going, she shook her head firmly. Many demon cultivators have been caught recently, and Master are very angry. I dare to conclude that if you go back on your word now, Master may punish you more severely. If you don't believe it, you can give it a try. You may not know, but you have to be like junior brother. I was imprisoned directly in the thinking cave. The days there are like years. Senior sister, can you bear to see me worrying about sect tasks every day? How about you help me with sect tasks? Pooh. What a big face. I am Lei Lingan, and I use all the spells of the Golden Thunder system? Do you think the senior brother in charge of the sect's mission can't tell? Then what should I do? Yan Yan used her special trick. She burst into tears for a second. That pitiful look really made me feel pity for him. Senior sister, if you can't think of a way, I won't leave. Yan Yan started playing tricks again. Tao then looked up at her and said quietly, it's not impossible.